What's up, guys? Speed Shak Garage here, and we have a shocking new video for you. All right, guys, welcome back. We're on the Baja again, and you know we've been fixing up the front end on this because it needs some TLC.
Yeah.
And we're starting with our blown out shock here on the passenger side, and might as well replace the other one too while we're at it. But this is the worst one.
Yeah. In the last video you saw us, we kind of bounced it around, and you could see a visual like this one's compacting with almost little more than the actual spring.
Oh yeah, there is.
And then that one actually over there wasn't too bad. It wasn't perfect, but
had some rebound.
Yeah,
left.
You want to have your shocks as equal as you can. Yeah. And these are what, KBs?
Yes, these are just the standard KYB gas filled shock.
Yeah.
For the standard Beetle, and they are brand new, obviously. But like Daniel said, if you want to see how, like, check out our bumper video. We kind of jump around and you'll see it. But that's our goal. So we're going to be getting this back off because we've taken these off before, putting the springs on. Again, check out that video if you want to see the springs and how much they lifted it.
If it lifted it.
If it lifted it. But today is installing your shock.
I mean, just looking at this thing too, I mean, the shaft is like, that's pretty bulky. I think I said that early on. Like, I was pretty impressed with like the stoutness of this. This is like,
yeah, they're thick.
Yeah. The whole shtick of this build is that in the Baja community, they say not to do one with Super Beetle because of McPherson. And truthfully, like, I don't know if it's any better handling with the standards, but this has been really, really great.
I think it handles pretty well. And with the shock blowing out, I could definitely tell. So it's not as nice and a little sketchy. So I'm excited to get these on. And so we're going to get the wheel off, start with that, and then we'll come in here, unbolt the top. We're just going to show you the whole process. All right, let's get to it. Top these off, jack up the car, get our wheel off.
Yeah.
Start with that. And we're going to just do the one side, kind of show you in everything because the other side's going to be the same. And this side's going to be cooler because it's blown out. So you'll see a very blown out shock. And I'm going to try and jack it up or hold it where the suspension is at full droop.
Yeah.
That way,
the spring's less loaded, right?
That way, yes, the spring isn't compressed anymore, and it's going to be easier. So we'll get this wheel off and then lower it.
All right. Wheel off.
That's it. Now, don't remember if I want to take off the top part first or unbolt this. I think this is going to be better. We're going to unbolt the bottom. That way this can just drop or somewhat drop, and then we can worry about the top so it doesn't fall out.
This little triangle thing.
Those little tabs need to be bent back in a slightly different socket. But yeah, we'll bend those tabs down. We're going to undo those 3 bolts, drop it, and then pull the whole thing out.
So what are you doing?
Oh yeah, we're using a big hammer and a screwdriver to knock these off. So all the wrong tools, but it works great.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's
like
these
little tabs.
Safety tabs.
Yeah. Let's see if you can get it in there. Yeah, like right in that. Yeah.
And I would say you want to replace these when you do this, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
We'll just bend them back.
Yeah, make sure to take that out.
Oh yeah, last time we couldn't get this thing.
It didn't come out easily.
Because you have to go up and then out. There we go. It's there. Okay. Just like that. Now, We don't even have to undo our brakes. Okay, so we're gonna be putting the jack up underneath, and there's a little hole just so it holds this whole assembly because it's very heavy. It's not very heavy, but it's heavy.
And more than you want to hold.
Yeah, I don't want it to just drop.
And I can't hold it because I'm holding the camera.
Yeah, Daniel's super busy.
Yeah.
Okay, we got those bolts off, and it should just. No, it's not going to come down at all.
That.
Well, it's not on.
Is it?
Is
the jack? Oh, there it is.
There we go. No, it's just
the stomp on it.
The arm is.
I see. Yeah, I see it now.
Which, oh yeah, because remember this took a lot to get off because it was rusty, but we put grease in there, so it didn't rust in there anymore because this sits inside your knuckle, and so it would be rusted and hold it. But that's loose and off. Actually, the knuckle now is just
hanging out,
floating.
There it is.
Okay, yeah, there's no tension. But yeah, as you can see, this just doesn't drop as far as you need it to. But will you hit it with that rubber mallet?
Right, this?
No.
This?
Try it like over here. Actually, you can just hit that. That's good.
It's still like.
Oh, we used a giant screwdriver. I'm
That's
trying to remember. This was like a year ago. I think that takes crowbar.
Big one.
There it is. Nope, that's it. And then
Sorry.
Oh, no,
I thought that was coming right for your head, but I forgot it stopped.
Would you just jack that up?
Yeah. Jack it up.
And hold the camera. There we go. That's good.
For those who think I don't do shit, proof.
There we go. I don't want the brake line to like bend too much and break because that's all that was holding the whole thing.
Is that it?
Yeah. Okay. Next, we're jumping up here and we're gonna undo these 3 bolts. We don't even have to take this off because these just pull us right out.
Pulls out.
We took those 3 bolts out. Nothing crazy. I'm gonna lower, actually, yeah, just slightly because we got to pull it out from. Yeah, so just a little bit more.
Oh, it's so close.
It is.
Oh,
there we go.
Just
That's
like
it.
that. Gracefully.
Gracefully. Set it down. Oh, yeah. But now you can see, like we said, it sits in this pocket. Now we got this out. Let's disassemble our strut and spring so we can get the new shock in it.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're going to throw this up on the bench in the vise. That's the easiest way. Compress this spring and hopefully not die.
Yeah. Cool.
There's your noise. Okay. We got this pretty loose where it's,
you really have to ratchet that down.
Yeah, we spent, and this time I didn't use an impact gun. And so I just used a wrench and evenly tightened these down. Took my time on it because that's definitely smarter than just doing it as fast as you can. And we're going to just, hopefully we can hit it with the impact and the nut spins off without spinning the shock. And now it's loose and
Is it spinning?
It's just spinning it.
So this has to be held. This needs to, otherwise the whole thing spins. So we're figuring out a way to hold that.
So I had to come up with something. I don't have a 22 millimeter wrench, and that's what size this nut is. So we're shoving a 7/8 in there, and I'm holding the
shock, or also technically turning the shock, while I turn the nut shoved in there. This makes sense, I think. It's kind of working.
Slow.
So we're going with the spinning the shock and holding the nut the best I can, and it's coming out. So we're just gonna pull this off, and there is a sequence to it, and we're just gonna take that bearing cover off, put that back on there, take that washer off, put that back on there, and that's it. And then there's ones up here, and we're gonna leave those in there because we're just gonna put it down and not move it. All right. Whew, we compressed it enough. And bump stop. And we actually had replaced these. Oh yeah, there's a washer there too. That was under that. Okay. Because if you don't put the white washers and everything in order,
it locks it.
Yeah, you won't be able to turn it. Now, I'm hoping I could just get in here with these channel locks. Yeah, and turn the nut. And we're gonna pull out our shock. And you can see all the fluid, and it's caked in the fluid because this is an oil-filled shock. And it's just leaking out.
Not a lot of dampening.
There is. Yeah, it's not even staying up.
Yeah.
So now it's... we gotta pull this out, and it's gonna be full of oil. So actually, keep rolling and see if any of it dumps out.
Yeah.
So, because it's probably, I got a rag right there. It's probably, obviously, it's sitting in the bottom of it. Oh, you can hear it. Just bubbling out from moving it just that little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some of the fluid.
You're not supposed to do that.
Okay, now we got to figure out how to pull it off. I'm gonna set it up.
Lock it in there.
Yeah, so we have it, the spring holder is there, and I'm hopefully just gonna, oh, there's more of the oil. We're gonna, sop that up.
Now.
Okay, Daniel said he's gonna give it a shot. I couldn't find the slide hammer, and he's just going to. You got it. Okay, I loosened it up.
So greasy.
Yeah, just stick it over the rag.
Okay.
Like tilt it up.
Oh, up like that?
Yep, there we go. That way it just leaks down.
Yeah.
And then if you want to just put that in the parts washer, we'll let all that.
Yeah.
But you can see all that oil in there on it. There's probably some inside of it. Yeah, it's gross. So
the rebound's not great, but it's not terrible. It's just
it doesn't go
just
back.
bottoms out.
It just suctions itself. Oh no, it's done for. It's dead. Yeah, just toss that in there. Let it leak. Let me see that rag and clean up the floor.
Yeah, I'll take that so we don't see it.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Now let's just dump this out real quick. There might be some still in there. Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. A little bit of mud. A little bit of everything. Maybe not a whole lot. I don't know what that's for. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So that's all we needed to do. I'm gonna just
give this a little clean up.
Yeah, just the threads themselves, so you can get the screw back on there. So we'll grab a thing of that. We're gonna clean up our threads. So the only difference I saw, like I said, I don't know what those shocks were. There was no sticker on them or anything. They originally had like this little spacer. Your KYBs come with this thicker ring. And while we were looking this over, we realized, because this is obviously not a nice fit, this ring is gonna make up that space difference, the slack of the shock. So there we go. So it'll just actually not wiggle as much, just like this. And then I do believe we'll go with, because I don't think this went inside there. No. So we're gonna go back on with our nut. I really don't think this needs to be all that tight. So we'll get this tilted up. We're gonna get our spring in, and it did come with a new nut. This is a nicer style because it has, let's show the Allen wrench up here.
Oh yeah, that's
which
nice.
is better because when you have your socket on here, you can get an Allen wrench through the hole and you just hold your socket or whatever, and that works out a lot better than that little groove thing like in the other one. All right, now it's just assembly time. We'll throw our beaten up little rubber. This should fit right over. Okay, cool. And then this. Oops, I got him. Don't think it matters, but the thicker washer is there.
Yeah,
And this.
This is super white.
Super white grease inside here. Slide that down. I just packed it full because there's a grease cap that goes up there, so it's fine. Throw our washer back on. Get our new nut. The new nylon locking. Get it started. And then, like I said, we're gonna get our Allen wrenches in there and be able to just turn the shock itself and not really the nut. So, but I'm gonna try to run it down as much as I can with the impact first. Actually, that didn't do too bad. There we go. So we can take our socket. And you can stick your Allen wrench in there. Tight. Oh yeah, like freaking manhandled that socket.
Yeah.
But those are on there. Now all we gotta do is we're gonna loosen this back up slowly. Not much to see. And then we're gonna get this back on. And then we're gonna do the jump test again and see
If it works.
how it works. That's changing your shock. Same thing if you need to change your top hat, your spring. We basically broke this all the way down to nothing that quick.
Yeah.
So don't ever, and it still spins. You want to definitely, obviously this isn't going to spin all the way around in the car. It's going to do about this much movement, and it does that nicely. And you want to make sure, because if you put those spacers in wrong, this is not going to turn, and then it's going to bind, and then you're going to complain that your new suspension that you put on is garbage, but really it was just your own fault.
Don't ask us how we know.
Yeah. So let's get this thrown back in here, just like we did taking it out. And it's really an easy job when you have no fenders, no bodywork.
Yeah.
So I apologize if people are watching this with a full-on Super Beetle with everything in it, because you'll have a little extra there, but
Although I feel like it's nothing
not
to take
much
those
more.
fenders off, really. Like,
it's not much to take the fenders off for sure. And like, truthfully, you're really, even if the fenders were here, maybe getting this up here, I wouldn't be able to hold it here and put the nuts on.
yeah.
But you put a jack stand under it and you just tighten it and you'll be fine. So I'm gonna get these nuts on to hold this, and then we can mess with the bottom so this doesn't just fall on my face. So if you are by yourself or you have somebody but all they're gonna do is film,
Yeah.
just throw a big old crowbar, whatever you want, up underneath that frame arm. You can push down on your suspension arm, and you only need that much to get everything back sandwiched together, and then it kind of will just push itself up. There we go.
It's a little fiddly, but it's
It
not
is.
like something you definitely can't do.
Yeah, and so now we're just gonna work it. Oh yeah, I think so. I think that's in. That's it. So I got those tabs bent up, and like I said, this side is super gross because that oil shock is just everywhere, and so it's nasty.
Here's the good side. It's less likely to rust
It is.
because it has a nice coating of oil all over.
Oh yeah, but all it was just finicky with these 3 bolts. We finally was able to just catch a thread and get the wrench on there and tighten them down. We reused our tabs for the second time, and they're a little weak. So I think if we ever do this again, I'll order those in. or we'll do this cool thing. We'll just drill holes through them and put safety wire through all our bolts. And that way,
would look way cooler too.
Yep, it'd be more practical. And that's it. So I'm going to slap this wheel back on. We're going to lower it on the ground, and I'm going to see how much this moves now compared to either our last video, which we can clip in real quick, of how much it compresses, to what it is now, because it should definitely be fixed. And then we can see what it's like compared to the non-blowing gas shock or oil shock compared to the gas shock here.
His favorite.
Putting these on.
Lugs.
Okay, I put the wheel back on. Now let's see how much this, oh wow, that's already better, goes. So I'm just gonna push down right now, and you can see it
Actually goes back up.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And this side, it's not too bad. I feel like it's a little stiffer. I don't know, like, but it definitely doesn't, like, that side drops a little more. There's a little,
Yeah, it's interesting.
a little stiffer than the other side, which I don't know. Actually, I like how that's feeling, because at least off-road, it's going to absorb more things.
Yeah.
Where this is a little stiffer and it's not. That was a lot to push on. Definitely isn't doing like it did before. So, not too bad. Comparison, we don't know yet. We're going to drive it a bit, and we're going to drive it to see how it really plays out. We're going to get the other side done, nothing special. All right, so I jumped on the other side. We're on the driver's side. We're going to get this shock pulled out, but before I do, I wanted to show you guys, if you've ever lost that little C-clip for your speedo cable, here's a quick solution. Permanent fix in my end, but if you need your speedo to be fixed again, this is what I did. Okay, I dropped down, check it out. The old safety wire. The aircraft mechanic and me, that is what we did. Now, there's just a little groove in here. And obviously I'm going to be cutting this off because our wheel needs to come off, and this is attached to our hub. So we're going to get that sorted. But I was just wrapped it around because there's a little groove. Cut that in the speedo itself, and actually you can see how it's stuck there, and that was the plan. So there's just this little groove in here. There's a little groove, and I think this is about 20,000 safety wire, and that fit in that groove, tightened it down, and I just attached it to one of my spokes. You could also do, which I think what I'll do now when I go to put this back on, is wrap it around a lug. That way it's not so long. We'll wrap it around one of these lug nuts because there is also a groove in there that your wire can set in, and then we'll attach to that. That attaches it all, and it's all together. I guess too, it should not be doing this. So this is serving two purposes. One, it's serving keeping this from slipping out, and two, since this is now a circle, this should have a square, and this should not spin like this. But now it's all attached, it holds it. So if you don't want to change out your cap, you don't mind a little safety wire, there's a quick solution for it, because mine's shot, and even if I had a clip in here, it wouldn't work because this would have to be replaced with one that's square. So there we go. Since we all know how to do this, I'm just gonna let the camera roll while I finish it, and we will get a time lapse. I'm probably actually, we're just gonna leave a little bit of the safety wire on here because I don't want this to fall back in there until I'm ready for it. But yeah, so I'm gonna get this wheel off, gonna get this shock off. We'll jump to the time lapse so you could see it quicker than it's gonna take me to do it. Go. So, for some reason the top of that one didn't have a washer where the nut goes on. So I found one and just needed to get a little bigger. So that's all we need to do. I think that's what I did to the last one because it has a similar drill marks on it. I don't know why I didn't do this side. So, there we go. Just a little Christmas tree drill bit. And it's all done. Now we bring this back. Heavy once you get it all back together, that's for sure. Okay, now that kicked my butt, that's a lot to do by yourself. Did this fly off or something? Okay, well I'll be back and I'll look for my cap. I found the cap. Now I lost it. Found it. Here it is. So I'm gonna slap that back on. And you can see that should be, it's square, but it's not square enough. So, you know, my Speedo just spins inside of it. But I'm gonna get that back on. Ugh. We're gonna pop that back on, get our safety wire. Well, I'm not gonna leave you hanging. That's not just what we're gonna be doing today, because I remember I have a new steering stabilizer. So let's get this on. I'm gonna finish up this job and then I'm gonna show you getting this on. I looked and I think, so it would probably make this job easier if I had finished the other job I started, but we're not gonna do that. So I do believe under this tab, we can access, I'm glad someone put the fuel pump right there. Just grab this random wrench. Okay, so I do believe if I pop that out, that's going to be there is our steering stabilizer bolt. Good on you, Volkswagen. That would suck to have to reach that any other way. So I'm gonna start with that bolt first. I'm gonna start with that one next. So there's one. And then our second one, I figured this job will be easy because we already have the wheel off. So it's right there. So there's our steering stabilizer. There's our hole. And there's our bolt. So, like I said, this is definitely something simple without all the body work. But I think this wouldn't be a bad job either with a full front nose and everything. All right, let's get that nut bolt off. Coincidentally, it's the same size as the bolts I used that bolt on the strut. So loosen that up pretty easy. Yeah, and there is a bushing in here. It's pretty gone, but it's not the worst, so we'll leave that. I'm gonna jump up top. Yeah. That wasn't loud at all. I'm just gonna leave that bolt right there. Pull out. Let's see, there it is.
It's the next day. The camera took a crap on me. no excuse, but I was able to get that steering stabilizer in, the steering dampener. I think it kind of showed you how easy it was. The bolts are super simple to get to. It has that access panel in the front trunk. And this is the old one. Definitely have seen better days, and it's similar to the gas shocks. It's just kind of, it's crap. But like I said, it's cool. It's threaded on this side, so you just have to get the bolt through the hole and threaded. There's no nut. And then the other one is just the bolt through there, through that access point. So that's in. Shocks are in. So this morning, I'm going to set up some cameras. We're going to go for a drive. I'm going to go get Daniel. We're going to see how this thing handles. I'm excited. So we're going to take you on for that because we got new shocks and that steering stabilizer, which I've read should help somewhat. So get ready for it.
Well, I don't know if we've done an inside sound test, but this is so much quieter than before. And the steering definitely feels a lot more smoother. Oh yeah. I wouldn't say it's a dramatic improvement, but it's definitely, it feels better on the road. Before it kind of, you would hit a bump and everything would go crazy just because there's no shocks up front to dampen it on these bumps and like all that stuff. So hit some bumps here. It definitely isn't throwing it off. And that steering stabilizer, right? So there's a good improvement. You know, how much off-road it'll do, I couldn't tell you. Right now, obviously, we're just on the street, but street-wise, some of these bumps that I usually drive over and would make the steering just throw it all around, it's not doing that anymore, which, go figure, if your steering stabilizer is shot. And man, you can just hear how quiet that is now. It's so much nicer. Like not having a turn signal. Alright, let's go hit a little bit of dirt. There we go, that's gonna be a good. Oh, that's definitely better than it was before.
All right, guys. So I just got here to Daniel's. We got the cul-de-sac we're about to terrorize with the Baja Bug, doing some serpentine and hard stopping. So that's up next. All right, guys, that's wrapping up the shock episode. steering stabilizer
Yeah.
shock, the front shocks, and shockingly, it's better.
Yeah.
So as I just drove over here hitting bumps too, I was telling you guys, like, the steering doesn't throw it all around when you hit a bump and the wheels go crazy. I think Daniel did it look pretty good stopping.
Yeah, I mean, it was like you could see that it, you know, the nose wasn't diving as much as it was before.
Oh yeah, I felt that. That's
yeah,
for sure.
like you can see it compressed, but more importantly, you can see it like rebounding back, without it looking like it's just bouncing down where it's like too tight. Because we were like noticing, I think when we put them on, that like the oil side when we were comparing almost seemed stiffer.
It did a little bit.
Yeah, but I think now that it's all together and a little bit more absorption from the shock, I think it'll be awesome, and you know, I can't wait to see it off road.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. It felt a lot better. So driving it on here, and as you saw on my way here, I hit a couple dirt road parts. I emptied lots. Yeah, I hit one dirt empty lot, and it did great. All I forgot to do is turn on the fuel pump. And yeah. But we're all good. So again, thanks for watching this episode. Any questions or whatever you have about Super Beetles, drop it in the comments and let us know.
And here's something for you guys. Those of you who do have Bajas, what is your preferred brand of shock absorbers in general?
What's a good one?
What do you like? I mean, because we still may change out the rear. We kind of got those.
Yeah, just
whatever, and we're open to suggestions. But so far, these what are the KYBs?
KYB gas shocks.
Yep. I'm impressed, and they weren't too expensive, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's that long ago.
It was that long ago. That'll be very expensive. So thanks for watching. And
like and subscribe. We're almost to 1,000.
Yes,
so, yeah,
we're getting there.
Tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your mom, tell your dad.
Create 3 accounts.
Yeah, do whatever you got to do. And
So thanks for watching, and it was cool being here.